Well, we mentioned it a bit earlier, talking about great comebacks. We talked about the Mark Calderwood hat-trick when you, as the Wigan coach, were trailing 30 points to 6 at one stage against the Bradford Bulls. Is there a kind of a formula as a coach in this situation?
Well, it's handy if you score first, because it gives you that little bit of belief.
And we talk about momentum, the switch of momentum that can so often and so quickly happen in these games. And 24-0, whilst the big task is not insurmountable, is it? You wouldn't have thought in this second half.
Well, if they get a couple, Workington, suddenly the belief comes back into the team. But it's generally when you're so far behind, you know what it's about? It's about your defence. It's whether you can stop them scoring again. Is the other way you got to, because you've not only got to score more than 4 tries here in this situation, you've got to stop Keighley scoring again.
It's a high tackle. Well, they weren't square anyway, but I think it was a high tackle. But it's a penalty for the not square.
Good start.
Well, this is what they want, isn't it? The Cumbrians now.
And Danny Craven's on now for his debut. I'm just trying to work out. I think he might be playing full-back now, Danny Craven, so he could have a big part to play if they're going to get back into this game.
We'll keep our eyes on him. Here's the tap restart from Callum Phillips. And drive forward by Jared Stack, the Aussie, who was so unlucky to be penalised for that ball steal in the first half. Here's Phillips again.
Hold, go.
Former Seaton amateur. It's a big defensive hit. They look to have lost none of their enthusiasm, Keighley, certainly. As they work hard in defence here, Robinson picks himself up. He's on a testimonial year as well. Craven is the man who passes away. Carton is the man who gets away, and it almost connects, but it's picked up instead by Gavin Duffy, and he's looking interesting on that far side, but a little mistake there from Workington, and suddenly it's going against them again.
Well, if you get an opportunity, it's important you execute it as well, but so far, and I'll say so far, it's not Workington's night, is it?
No, it hasn't been so far, definitely. I think Craven's actually got into half-back. I think it's Forber who's been withdrawn at half-time, so he will be heavily involved there, Craven. But they need to get on the front foot first, don't they, and get the forwards going first.
Another Barrow spinning it wide. Jones helps it on its way, and an interesting run again by Duffy, who's picked a path down that right-hand side that looked improbable, and he's held there, but he's kept it alive. Well, the referee had shouted held, so they'll go back for Duffy to play the ball here, I think.
Pardon? Call out first.
Well, the touch judge is having a word as well.
Scrum then.
He was given a scrum in the end. I think he was going to say it was called held, but I think the touch judge is saying he actually put a foot in touch over there. That he was out of play before the call of held was made. That's the interpretation here.
Heads in.
His foot's in touch.
Cal, and in.
I think he was held before his foot got to touch.
Well, it's Workington. You talk about those little decisions going against you, and suddenly they may be going for Workington in the second half. Allstrom is the man who's tackled here. Phillips up at dummy half. Trying to get them going again here, the team in pink. They've travelled an awful long way to get here tonight on a Thursday night, and we take our hats off, as we always do, to these players, but especially the Cumbrian lads who travel a long way on a Thursday night. A lot of them going back with jobs to do in the morning. They're only going to get back home after midnight in some cases, and many of them getting up to do full shifts tomorrow. They really are an admirable breed. Phillips out from dummy half again. Morris takes it on. Little flick pass by him. Stack's trying to keep it alive. Calderwood picks it up. Has to go to ground, otherwise he would have been in danger of being tackled out of play, but the referee this time has shouted held. Well, this time the referee had shouted held and decided that Mark Calderwood must have heard that and carried on playing it, and so he's given a penalty. It's not often you see a penalty for that these days.
So he picks the ball up, he goes down and he thinks, well, he's officially tackle complete there, and he thinks he's not, so he throws the ball out, and it's not Workington's night. Yeah,
not so much the call of held, it's the fact that his elbows hit the ground, that it was a completed tackle. He should have known with or without the shout of the referee. That's why the penalty's given. So this is the drive of Scott Law. Keighley back in prime position. Parkinson at dummy half. Lynham takes it forward.
Move! Go,
played. Left to March. March again trying to prompt things to happen once more. Keighley running it in. So 3 gone. 3 to go. Opening 5 minutes of this second period in a game in which Keighley have been very much in charge for the most part. Chandler driving it forward again. One thing Workington can't do is concede, especially so early in this second half. March again. Leatherbarrow dummy the kick, then puts a short pass on. I think it's Persgrove. He's trying to make the drive, and I think he thinks he's got the try. Referee Matt Thomason is not so sure. It's all about the grounding here. It's all about Ian Smith to make a judgment.
We're just looking at the grounding. So I just need, I know the markings aren't great, but I could just do with a view of the other corner is probably the best one. This one, if you could do this in slow motion. Right, so he's under the hand under the ball. Just jog that one back, please. So keep going, slowly now, slowly now. So his hand's on top, he's not lost the ball. He's not lost the ball. Pause there, that's a try. Mark, that's a try.
Well, the try is given. Were you so sure?
I'd like to see it again, because I'm not sure whose hand's who. Now, if Ian Smith's got it right in the right hand, the hand he said is the hand, if that makes sense, then he's got it right. But I thought it was the full-back's hand under the ball. Let's have a look here.
I think it's Perscove's hand himself, isn't it, by the look of that one?
But I think his hand's underneath the ball. Does that make sense? And then he takes it off him.
It's got to touch the ground, hasn't it? The ball's got to touch the ground. But anyway, the try's given. 28-0. Here comes the kick from Leatherbarrow. Oh, and he's put it wide. He's losing his kicking boots here. He's missed the last two. 6 out of 8. But 28-0, Keighley now lead. Let's have a look at this one again.
I'm not sure we'll see it from this angle. I mean, it's well worked, Leatherbarrow on. I'm going to stop Persgrove from that. I don't. Does he get it down?
Maybe this is why they let the grass grow long.
Yeah, Paul March.
He has to touch a blade of grass, you know.
What about the sell here from Paul March? He's no idea whether he's got it down or not, but he's going to tell the referee he has.
So, Workington's hill just got steeper. Keighley 28, Workington 0. 34 minutes left to play, but they've got head and feet here. They've got head and feet here. The question is, do they have belief? Do they feel that this is not insurmountable?
The beauty of this competition, Dave, as well, is the bonus points, of course, especially when it's such a close division, that it could be absolutely crucial tonight for Workington to get a bonus point against one of the rivals. So while 28 points might be too big a bridge to gap, 16 might not be so bad.
It's a bit like the follow one in cricket, isn't it? Let's make that our first target. Let's get to 16 and see what happens after that. Little twist and a turn by Miller, putting his side in position. Out from dummy half, Phillips again, and along that line it goes. They are threatening here, but Keighley's defence scampering and really working hard for each other. Flick away again by Callum Phillips, and a little shoulder dropped. And is he in? Has Peter Lupton got in? Yes, he has. So belief maybe starts here. Peter Lupton, first try scorer of the night for Workington. And maybe there is a way back.
Maybe there is. He certainly believes. He's certainly been in plenty of teams over the years that have made comebacks, and nice skill from Phillips from the floor. And Lupton just backs himself, gets it on the outside of the Keighley defender. Robinson he gets on the outside of, and he just can't come up with a play.
Tough score that, wasn't it?
Well,
big effort to get through.
He needed help, and he wasn't getting any, so he decided to do it on his own. And they need something like that. We've been saying they're crying out for a Workington player to roll the sleeves. Give me the ball, I'll do something for you. Well, that's the first effort. They need a few more now.
I think a big moment for them as well, but will be when Dowes and Thackeray come back on, if they're going to get that momentum back in the game. I think Thackeray's looking to come back on shortly by the look of it over there. He's stood up waiting soon. And they're the two guys, I think, that can drag them back into this game and get them on the front foot again.
Well, here's the kick. Is it wide? Yes, it is. Just drifts wide. So they only go up in the 4 at the moment, but 28 points to 4. At least now they have a bit of a chance, a bit of self-belief, maybe. 4 scores the difference.
It was a nice finish from Peter Lupton, wasn't it?
Stay behind the kicker, Scott. Stay on.
Jones, left-footed, hammering it downfield, and gives looking for the touchline, wasn't he? Certainly hit it with a lot of oomph, but he hasn't managed to pick a way through.
Hold, wait, go.
So Workington from deep inside their own half, looking for a carry that gets them inside their opponent's territory. Here's Phillips, throwing it behind the line, hoping that they can find a chink in this Keighley defence. Ahlstrom battling away. It's Lupton again, creating a bit of an overlap on this near side, but not able to get the ball into the hands of Andy Morris until he picks it up here from dummy half. That was a fifth.
Keep coming, wait.
So they'll need something here. Phillips on the sixth. It's a kick high from the debutant Danny Craven. It's gone very high. It's not gone a long way forward. It has been taken again and then dropped. Dropped by Craven, so Keighley have the ball back in their hands. Oh, hang on, what's he saying? Oh, he's given Workington head and feet here.
He said no knock on there.
He was saying there's no knock on from Workington.
The Paul March is shaking his head and scratching his head. Let's have a look at this one again.
Stay. Out.
Well, have a look at this. Does he knock on here? No, he kicked it. He kicked it. And that's what the referees decided. He kicked it. So this is why Workington have this position here now. And a chance. A real chance down that blind side. It's Miller who's having a go. But he's tackled within sight, almost, of that line. Craven now. Little pass back on the inside for Carl Ahlstrom. Can't work a way through. So they'll have another go. Craven once more, up to that line. Long it comes. Lupton throws it wide. It's the Aussie. Jared Stack, who's put down. Morris is down injured as well. Here comes the last again. Lupton just about gets boot to ball with the chasers around him. They're going to force another drop out underneath the sticks. Well, they've got the urgency for it, haven't they?
They look to have. I think Craven's made a huge difference to the look and feel of the team, hasn't he? Wanting the ball all the time in the attack, and he's prompting players around the field, giving Lupton some assistance that probably Forber wasn't in that first half, and they look a whole lot better.
I think Stack's a big player for them as well. He's put his hand up a lot out on this side, and if they're going to have some joy, you get the feeling it might be down this right with Stack and Morris. They're the two that have kind of poked their head through more than the others, I would say.
So another chance to have a go at that line. Shackley, first man in, picked up again by Callum Phillips. Lively little run from dummy half by him, threatening to make the ultimate breakthrough here, Callum Phillips. First year as a pro, he's making a big impression, not just tonight but this season. 4 to go from here. Lupton out wide. It's Morris who's sandwiched between a couple of defenders. So down to dummy half goes Phillips again. Here's Lupton once more, getting very much involved. Craven steps off the left foot, trying to create a hole in that Keighley line, but unable to do so. Defenders hanging on. Now he'll play it. Now it's picked up. Little dash and down. Ahlstrom! He's in! Carl Ahlstrom out from dummy half. 2 tries now for Workington. The belief is back. My word, what a response this is proving to be now.
On the back of a couple of penalties. Great footwork from Ahlstrom here. Jinks off his right and off his left and goes in between the 2 defenders. Gets Laws, as big as he is, couldn't resist. Or was it Paul March he goes in between as well, and one-on-one he created on the line, and great finish. No, it was Laws that got out of the line and he went in through. Yeah, and Esker is not impressed with that. He knows they're back in the game.
And the Workington coaching staff speak really highly of Ahlstrom. He's had a bit of a taste of Super League as a youngster, and they say he does all the right things off the field. He's got a great work rate every week, and he's kind of got them, well, he's got them right back into it, I guess. Now they're within 3 scores if Carter converts here.
You had a brief view of him at Wigan, didn't you, when you were the Wigan coach, Carl Ahlstrom?
Came for a trial, and we didn't quite get him over the line.
Had a trial at Bradford as well. He had a short spell at Wakefield, did Ahlstrom. The kick has gone over. Carter, the goal kicker, 28 points to 10. So Keighley is still, you would say, looking at that scoreboard, just switching your telly on, in charge of this game. Maybe, and again, apologies to Keighley fans for mentioning this, but given the run they've been on, maybe that self-confidence is a little bit fragile here, and he's about to be tested.
Yeah, the props changes happened as well. Hesketh and Law have gone off for Keighley, and Dowes and Thackeray back on for Workington.
Move! Hold!
So Workington with a wind in their sails in this second half. Certainly a better showing from them in this second half as Wall will drive it in.
Hold! Wait! Go!
Points on the board. If nothing else, at least they've got themselves up and running here tonight.
Well, I said at half-time, Dave, and this test tonight is not about Workington's attack in this second half, albeit they've got to score points. It's going to be about their defence, because they can't afford to concede anymore.
Here's Calderwood running into a bit of a cul-de-sac when that pass was thrown to him. Lupton. Alstrom again down the middle. And he's got a penalty. Ball was stolen.
Like role reversal, isn't it? What was the penalty count in the first half to Keighley? 9-4. I bet it's about 4-0 now in this half to Workington.
There's Forder's kick to touch, which has given Workington a tap restart midway inside their opponent's half. First man in is going to be Andy Morris with a run to set the position. 5 to go from here. Here's Phillips down this blind side, and Stack has 3 defenders drawn to him before he is eventually pulled down. Phillips stands and waits. Lupton. Here's Craven. Short pass. Good tackle from Pursglove. Made sure his man was stopped, but Workington is still in good position here. Lupton offers it back on the inside. It's Thackeray who's almost finding a route through, but he's going to be held up short by a stride or two. Couple of tackles left to go. Back to Craven. Craven to the line. Just thought he saw a bit of a gap there. Manages to offload it. Morris now picks it up. Morris is desperately looking for a way over. Morris dives in. The ball's gone free. It's knocked on and then touched again behind that dead ball line. Oh, hang on, no, it's not. It's a scrum down. It's Keighley's head and ball at the scrum, so it was a knock on. But those Workington fans behind the sticks thought they had another one there for a moment. I think Morris thought he had another one. Takes off from the... Oh, just drops the ball, doesn't he? He's over the line, if that's the line. His grip on the ball. And worth having a look at that, wouldn't it? I think he did drop it.
I agree with Brian about Danny Craven. He's come on and had a real impact, hasn't he? And, you know, he has given Lupton that extra space, but he's taking the line on as well there. He's a threat himself, and that's going to help Workington in his second half.
Here comes Duffy, the winger, helping out his big fellas up the middle, who've been under an awful lot of pressure in the last few minutes, having to defend. And here's the other winger, Paul White, looking to return with a bit of venom as well here.
Go.
Cosgrove, Elliot Cosgrove, second debut, if you like, tonight as a man who's moved recently from Dewsbury, just earlier this week. Forward by Rawlins. Try score right at the start of the game. That was the 5th, so on the last, Leatherbarrow will slot one through, looking for touch and finds it, and it's a very good kick.
Smart kick as well. Teams had no ball. They've had no attacking prowess, albeit Workington get the ball here. They're the ones chasing the clock and the scoreboard. And they get to walk to a scrum to Keighley and talk about, well, let's try and restrict some territory now. Keep Workington at this end of the field where they're not as much as a threat down on our own line.
Well, Thursday nights barely pass off without some kind of flicker of drama, very often with a whole host of drama, so don't be surprised if this does turn around here tonight, and Workington are doing their very best to make sure it does turn around. And a little dummy shown by Carter, almost working her way through, picked up quickly by Andy Morris. Morris, off he goes. He's a powerful centre, isn't he? Tries to push a few off.
It was a good handoff, wasn't it, on Haley?
Signed from Salford last year, by the way. He's the one that got away. Picked up from half again by Phillips. And a little kick downfield by Lupton. Well marshalled. Collected by Duffy, safely enough. But Workington looking to press on here and keep Keighley penned inside their own half, so off goes White. Home fans thought it was a bit high. The referee's having none of that.
You be careful.
You be careful, says the referee, Jody Sherry.
I think he said you wouldn't be careful.
Wait.
And they're looking at the offside situation. In by Schickel. Prominent member of that Keighley front row. Making progress down at the middle. The hard yards being earned here. Pursglove, the latest, to try and drive it in. So on the 6, back to Leatherbarrow. He's going to hoist it high here. It's a tester. And underneath it is the winger Miller, who's caught it safely enough.
He's not wasted many kicks, has he, Leatherbarrow, tonight? He's put it in decent areas most of the time.
He's kicked well.
It's Carter. Little point of the finger by Callum Phillips, telling his teammates where he wants them to run, and this is where he wanted them to run.
Move, Paul!
Get some work out of Paul March if you can. Get him tiring a little. Stop him doing things when they have the ball in their hands. But March will work all night for you. Thackeray drives it in. Pick up. And out from dummy half goes Morris. Keighley player left down injured, by the way, in back play. Not sure who that is. Here comes the sixth tackle. So Callum Phillips will put it high. Safe catch by Jones. Jones immediately gets the ball away, and here's an opportunity on that right-hand side, and suddenly Duffy's threatening to make that break again, but they're across to make the tackle.
Yeah, I thought it was a nothing kick from Workington at the end of the set. Danny Jones had all the time in the world to catch it comfortably and find his outside accomplices. Duffy and...
Sorry, Brian, it's James Feather who's down injured, by the way, the Keighley player. He's getting a bit of treatment.
Free, clear! Offside, Ewan!
So an hour, very nearly played. 18 points the difference, 3 scores the difference, but Workington making much more a battle of it in this second half than they were allowed to do in the first. Sharif.
5 last move!
March.
Go.
Rallying up to dummy half again. Here's Jones. Jones with a chip. He's got plenty of flight on that, but the outstretched fingers of White couldn't quite grab it in.
Caught the ball boy as well.
Ball boy did well there, didn't he?
They both did well, both wingers. Ball boy, ball, everybody did well. Great kick from Jones. Calderwood runs him off the ball. Paul White, no real chance, catches the ball boy. Thinks it's the ball that he kicked out, but it wasn't. Wrong one, Paul.
Slap on the head from both wingers for the ball boy. Well, we've still got a man down here, so I think we're going to hold up play until James Feather is dealt with. And in fact, he's going to have to come off. He's obviously got a smack on the nose here, James Feather.
I think he's got a broken snoz.
Lads,
that's a technical term for it.
It's going to be a turnover. Just turn over here.
It's not broken, it's a very bad cut on his nose. Ouch, they hurt.
Wait here.
Yes, that was the fifth tackle, by the way, the sixth tackle rather. That kick. It's a straightforward handover here, so Workington don't have to go through the rigmarole of packing down. They can just have the ball in their hands straight away. And Andy Morris is the first man to lead that charge forward again. Here's Alstrom. Couple of tackles gone. Workington desperate to get to the other end of the field as quickly as they can, and here's a man who might lead the way. Ewan Dowes. Doesn't make too much of an impact on that occasion. Spun back for the kick of Craven. Now he's very much inside his 40, but he's never going to trouble the touchline side. Jones is the man who catches it, hands it on to Duffy. We've seen Duffy have 1 or 2 little good runs, but he's lost it this time, and it's kicked downfield instead by Elliot Miller, and Miller catches it acrobatically and touches down. Oh my word! Oh my word! The referee says, I'm not making a decision on all of that. Ian Smith, it's over to you. Is this going to be a try, and how big a moment might this be?
Looking how the ball came out of the Keighley player's hand, and then from the kick is a try scorer onside. If we play that at full speed, because there's clearly somebody's hand on it, but I just think he loses it on impact. Just go back to that and play it at full speed, please. Run that through. Ah, that's play on. So I just need to check that this winger's onside from the kick. So if he frees it on his foot, because there's 2 players in collision there, so if I think it's Peter Lupton who makes the kick, so as long as the winger, so does Peter Lupton, he's onside, just go to the ground and make sure there's no double movement. The one from behind, this is the one. So he turns over, he's entitled to get up, he lifts his arm, and he jumps over, dives over, and that's a try. Mark, that's a try.
Try given, 28-14, kick to come. It might be a 2-score game in just a moment, but Elliot Millam is the man who scores a try. Elliot Miller, I should say. He's from Millam originally. Elliot Miller is a try scorer. What do you make of all that?
Well, I reckon it's absolutely the right call. It's collision here that causes the ball to go out. Nothing to do with the steal. Great kick from Lupton. Miller just has to finish it, take some finishing, because he fell over as well. If you look at this in normal speed, you see the contact with the collision. Is he trying to bring the ball in to try and bring it out? And that is play on for me as well, and finished it. Cat amongst the pigeons now.
Yeah, here's Carter from the touchline. How good's his boot? How good? That good. That's how good. Flags go up. Well, 28-16, and a game that was running away in Keighley's favour is now back in something of the balance.
And I said at half-time that this is about Workington's defence, not their attack. That's going to be the challenge. If Keith get over there and get one over the line, it gives them that 3-score advantage again. So you've got to be near perfect defensively to crawl back, to claw back a lead as such as been gone against them.
Well, if they score again in the next 5 minutes or so, my word. Well, even if they don't score in the next 5 minutes, 18 minutes of 17 and a half minutes of this game to go. 28-16, a very, very one-sided 24-0 at half-time has suddenly transformed into a real challenge in the Kingston Press Championship in this second half. Here's Ewan Dowes. Never much chance of him getting his arm free with 3 defenders around him. So Mattison at dummy half, spins it back to the middle. Looking for ground here. Workington again. Still a couple of tackles left. Here's Morris, gathering defenders towards him, Haley being one of them. But that was a 5th. So Mattison slipping it away. Craven with a cheeky little chip over the top. He's found a bit of ground here. March has gone down and collected that, and an important catch as well.
Captain coach, fantastic. He knew how important that was.
He was going to get hurt. He knew that, but that didn't put him off. Getting down there and making that ball safe.
Let's have a look at this closely. Yep.
Munda just got
to juggle the ball as well.
Got a knee in the head, didn't he, as he went down? Have a look at this. Oh, it was an arm around the head. Well, it doesn't do Keighley any disservice to have a bit of a break here either, does it? Just takes a bit of momentum out of the game. But I mean, it's a genuine injury. I'm not saying he's putting it on or anything, but...
Well, they can talk about what they're supposed to be doing, but the captain and coach is the one that's been injured, so he'll not be giving any leadership tips out at this moment in time. So Leder Barrow and Danny Jones has a lot of experience from their bigger boss. Says, listen, let's just go back to, I know we know he's slightly uphill, and let's go back to grinding away in the middle and kicking the ball into the corner and maybe playing at the other end of the field. But it's, at the moment, it's a little bit of role reversal from the first half, isn't it?
He just caught the hip bone, top of the thigh, didn't he, and the arm as well. So it would have been a fairly thudding knock, but he's going to be okay. Anybody who doubted he was going to be okay, by the way, get to the back of the room, because you don't know Paul March if you think he's going to come off for that. And Keighley back in possession as Schickel brings it forward.
Wait.
Keighley looking to slow things down a little here. Take some enthusiasm out of this Workington side.
See, Workington seem to have lifted physically now, don't they?
Yeah,
it's been
a spring in a step, and there will be now.
Lost by Rawlins. A gift to the opposition. And you can see them hopping back towards the scrum to pack themselves down here now.
Now does the doubt come in? 6 losers on the bounce. Does the doubt come in?
Okay, it's back in. Stay on. Out.
Feed by Phillips, spun away. Craven helps it on again. It's taken on by Cale Connor.
Move! Go on.
Actually arrived at the South Wales Scorpions earlier this year, Cale Connor. I don't think he played for them. Certainly not any competitive matches.
Move! Hold! Wait! Go!
So Workington looking to rev themselves up again. Alstrom.
He's got through some work, hasn't he, this second half in particular.
Yeah, he has.
Craven. Little show by Phillips, and then helps it on, and dummy by Carter. Carter's found a bit of space here. Carter with a step, and Carter is held up. Is he? No, the referee says he's not sure again. So an obstruction they're looking at, and the grounding here. And again, it's another potentially massive moment in this game. Ian Smith.
Can you hear me, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, just run this one forward slowly. He's running an inside angle. and he passes it, that's fine, that's play on. That's no obstruction at all. So it's just a grounding now. So let's puts the step on. It's on his shoulder, so there's no high tackle. Reaches forward. Does he get it down? I need something from... Is there a handheld there? That might give it me. The handheld might do it. This one. This might help. So if you just slow this one down, keep going. So... Have you got another... Yeah, another angle. Andy Smith, is the ball on the line when you get there? The ball is on the line when you see it. Right. OK, mate. So the touch judge has seen the ball on the line. I can't see the ball coming out, so we've not got a knock on there. Is that the best you've got? Right, let's try this one. Right. So I just want to make sure that he doesn't lose it. So as long as he doesn't lose it, the touch judge has seen the ball on the line. So let's run this one through. So he carries it. It's not a double movement because he's still sliding. He's still sliding. He's still got hold of it. His hand's on it there. Still got it. That's a try, Matt. That's a try.
Try given. The Workington fans are bouncing up and down in pure delight because a game that looked as though they were going to get absolutely nothing from. Well, never mind the bonus point, they might even win this yet. 28-20. There's still 15 minutes of this match to go. And Carter, the try scorer...
It was a great break from Carter.
...has a kick here that remains very, very important because kicks this, they are 6 points behind, one try and a goal, misses, and it is still a 2-score game. Here comes Carter now from that touchline. He's pulled it wide, hasn't he? He's pulled it wide. The flags stay down. So 2 out of 4 for him tonight, but 28-20. They're within two tries.
There's Carter's break in the first place, and it has to be finished. This he does really, really well to keep himself moving and get the ball down in the end. Totally deserved break on the back of some great approach work, and I think it was Phillips that made the play out the back and release Carter.
Jones with a restart. Keighley getting up there quickly. So go on then. If you could call a mythical timeout here and you could get these Keighley players around, having lost 6 on the row, having been up 24-0 and now finding themselves 28-20 up only 8 points, what do you say to them at this stage? How do they respond?
Look after the ball and kick it into a corner and get some resolve and a little bit of belief back from restricting the territory of Workington. That make them kick again and nearly force an error there is what, because the pressure is still on Workington, believe it. Although they've got the momentum, there's still 2 scores. The pressure is on them.
40 minutes. Here's Craven, the man who has made a difference with a kick downfield, putting Keighley straight away on the back foot. And here comes the first regard that, as far as Brian Noble was saying, no mistakes is what Keighley's looking for here. Get downfield, but not any mistakes on the way.
No penalties.
Workington will be desperate to get up as quickly as they can, but without incurring the wrath of the referee for being offside. Driven forward by Andy Schickel. Good carry by him, but 3 defenders holding him up, putting him down, but he's landed on his front, so they play the balls a little quicker than it might have been. Jody Sharif now will drive it in again. That was a 5th. Here comes the last. Just a tip to it or so inside the Workington half. Kick downfield. Where's this going? It's hit the post, hit the upright. Makes it a little bit more complicated, but collected in the end safely by Carter.
Well, they've got the first part right, haven't they? Now they've got to restrict a little bit of territory and make Workington kick again. Get them back into the arm wrestle, get them back up to the part of the field that they need to be in.
There's Calderwood, lateral, 20 yards forward, maybe an inch. So Workington needs something a bit more direct here. I think Ewan Dowes is lining himself a big thrash forward. Here he comes now. Off the long run and plays it quickly as well. Calderwood now collects from dummy half, skimming away. He's going to go down. So there's still a couple of tackles left to play in this particular set. I think we're going to go across to the touchline in just a second for some news. Here's Alstrom threatening to make the break. Alstrom looking to get him alive. So what do they do on this final play here now? Here comes the sixth tackle. Craven just welling it downfield. It's going to be caught safely enough by Paul White. He's got the skates on, running it forward, and he's going to be tackled there. So let's hear from Natalie then, who I think's got some injury news on that far side. Natalie.
Well, yeah, you saw James Feather come off. He's got a badly broken nose, that we're told, but he is going to come back on to see if he can stop Workington's momentum. They've stopped the blood flowing, and they've changed his top as well. So when he does return, he'll be wearing the number 18.
OK, thank you for that. James Feather is going to come back on, we think. And whether it'll be in a winning cause remains to be seen. Keighley, there's the moment he got injured. Feather. Oh, that hurts. That hurts, doesn't it? Don't show us that again, please. Here comes Leatherbarrow, who's needed all the damage in that little clip with a little chip. Clever chip again, just slowing it down.
2 good sets from Keighley. These last 2 sets have been really composed and really managed. They're back in the game now. They can breathe a little bit. They're not as frantic. Their brains are starting to work properly now. It's about Workington, if they can break the shackles again now.
Danny, I didn't, mate. Scott.
Yeah, I agree completely with Brian. They've looked composed these last 2 sets, haven't they? I think March has got in there a bit, and Leatherbarrow, especially at the end of the sets, come up with decent kicks again, and they're turning the ball over right up here and making Workington kind of work for this momentum again.
11 minutes left to play. Is there going to be another couple of twists in this game, or are Keighley going to get that win they so desperately need? And you'd have to say, on the evidence of the first half, maybe deserved, but less so in this second period. Here's a drive by Dowes, Ewan Dowes. Less a drive, more a capture in possession. Spun away. Craven gets it onto Carter. Carter off one tackle, off another. Tries to spin away past the second, but Schickel hits him and puts him down.
It was a one-man roadblock, wasn't it?
Sixth tackle coming up. Little chip downfield, this time by Phillips. Being chased, caught by White, runs into his own man.
Move!
He's hurt, is Callum Phillips. Got a bit winded after that kick.
Good work.
Here's Haley.
Move! Onside!
Phillips is back in the line, though. He's taken his position back in the line again. Schickel.
Line, move! Wait, go!
It's winding up to a proper finish here. That's Parkinson. March again at dummy half. Just about inside their own half. March now picks up. Schickel brings it forward.
5 last, move, Peter!
Here comes the last.
Go!
March spinning it on. Leatherbarrow with a kick downfield, again looking to keep it in the field of play if he can, but he can't. It's going to be a tap back on the 20. Now, what about that late shot on Callum Phillips? Let's have a look at this. Ooh. What do you reckon?
What? Motion!
Just a collision, just an accident?
Just a collision, yeah.
No penalties!
There's Stack.
I'm pretty sure Stack's played the full game, hasn't he? He's been on the whole time, and he's got his hand up nearly every set for the ball. Here's another guy who has as well, Alstrom, and those two have helped them back into this game in this second half, undoubtedly.
Alstrom will play it. Here's Mattison from dummy half. Just a couple left here now in this set, so.
Good work.
Craven grubbering it through again. Collected on that far side by Duffy.
Didn't quite get the bounce he wanted, did he?
Yes,
I mean, a couple of turns and to bounce awkwardly for Duffy, but Duffy cleaned it up real well.
Being told, by the way, that Feather will not be coming back on. James Feather. Keighley have made that decision now. They've made their final interchange. Haley, the man who's off.
With me. Good work.
And Hesketh, the man who's come back on again. So that's the final change
Surrender!
for Keighley.
Stand free. Hold. Go.
What you see is what you get for the last 8 and a bit minutes of this game. It would seem they've taken the sting out of Workington, but it only takes one dropped ball in a position like this to give the Cumbrians a little bit of hope again. 5 gone. March at dummy half, inside their own 40. Back to Leatherbarrow. Again, a kick that falls betwixt and between a triangle of players. Calderwood picks it up, plays it inside for Carter. He's lost it. Keighley have it, and suddenly there's an opportunity for Jody Sharif. to try and spring forward. I think Carter's actually hurt. In losing that ball, he was hurt. But his soul might be hurting as well now, because it's given Keighley a position to maybe go and win it from here. The referee's going to stop the clock, because this looks as though it might be a serious injury for Brett Carter. Let's have a look at this, how it happened.
Good work, boys, excellent.
He's bringing the ball out, and I'm not sure. Oh, that's been missed.
High tackle by Brendan Rawlins.
It's a right hook, wasn't it?
He's not missed there, as he's got him flush on the chin, I think.
I think you need a chin like Carl Froch to keep hold of the ball there, wouldn't you?
It's hit him right on the snooze button.
Carter's still very groggy here. But a chance of Cougars, the home fans getting behind their team here. He's going to stay on. 7 minutes left to play.
These rugby league players are tough, aren't they? They're just great. Honestly, they're tough.
First tackle, play the ball.
So here comes the tap restart. Driven in. Trying to find a way through. Another try here will surely settle it. They might have enough in it anyway. Leatherbarrow. Here's March. March onto Jones. Jones steps back in. Workington defenders desperate to keep them at bay here.
The bonus point comes into play again. A converted Keighley try would deny Workington one, so I'm sure they're keen for that.
Here at dummy half is Parkinson. Driven on again. Taken in by Hesketh. Parkinson spinning it back. Long ball out wide. Workington's defence is working hard here.
Great D.
Let's go. Play on.
And Workington get their hands back on the ball, but a long way from where they want to go. Miller the first with a run. Penalty, that helps.
Help.
Still 6 minutes left here. It's still an awful lot of time in the game, isn't it? It's a good kick. It's a fantastic kick. So instead of having to plough their way out from deep inside their own half, suddenly Workington have been given a wonderful position. Stack, first man in. Mattison on by Thackeray. It's going to be held up there. Pattison again. Dummy run. Here's Craven. Looping ball by him to the fullback Carter. Wider still to Connor. Cale Connor. Reaching and desperate, but he's put down. Now it's spun back to the middle once more. He's lost it. Lost the ball. More desperation stuff from Carter, but he lost it on the way through.
He just drops it cold, doesn't he? He hasn't secured the ball when he's looking for his space to go at.
Keighley looking to lift themselves off the bottom spot by a distance tonight if they get these 3 points.
Discipline.
And at the moment, you'd make them favourites to get there.
Discipline.
But boy, if they've been tested in this second half.
Out. One. Move.
Workington desperate to try and jog this ball free.
Go. Good work, Brett.
If they can at some point. Brian Noble will start thinking, as he always does, about man of the match. You very rarely don't think about man of the match, do you? Always think about that kind of thing. It's a job he loves. Here, Keighley, doing a job they love just at the moment, holding on to this game.
Onside.
It's amazing, they're a different animal this second half, aren't they, Workington?
4.
Right up from dummy half, but
hold it.
penned.
Go. 4.
It's March who helps things on again. Sharif threatening to make the break.
5 left.
That's the 5th. Here comes the last. 4 minutes to go. March back to Leatherbarrow.
Give him 10.
Kick. Carter catches.
Okay.
Little twist and a turn, and back he comes. Beats the first man, but not the second or the third.
Hold it.
Score on this set, otherwise forget the game.
1.
They need 3 lots of possession in order to get what they want.
Hold.
generally around between 45 and a minute for a set, so on the clock you would say yes.
Ulstrom. He's still going forward here, Carl Ulstrom.
Strong in the second half, hasn't he?
Onside. Go.
Great work rate, hasn't
No
it?
penalties.
Craven. Oh, there's a chance here. Calderwood making a break, and he's got support on that outside as well. Little chip back on the inside. Where's the chase? Calderwood's after it, but he's going to bounce beyond everybody and bounce out of play. And maybe that is that. Maybe that was the moment that Workington needed to bounce their way.
Wait for his game position.
It was a great break from Calderwood, wasn't it? Just got caught by his shirt tails.
Time off.
So Keighley, no, it's all about running the clock down here. Calderwood having made that break.
Onside.
Little chip back on the inside by Elliot Miller. Just away from the chasing pack.
2. Move. Hold. Wait here. Wait. Go. 2. 3. Clear. Yes, Jamie. Hold. Hold.
There's an injury here.
Wait.
Well, the clock is going to be stopped,
Take the
so
ball off him.
well,
Take
he
the
gets
ball quickly
treated.
in field.
Brian
Play the
Noble, your
ball.
thoughts on man of the match?
Play the ball.
There's been plenty of candidates from Workington in the second half, hasn't there? You know, Ulstrom, what he's done, and Stack, his pure work rate, and then the injection of Carter, and you know the
5 last.
nice
Move.
subtle plays of Danny Craven that's helped them in this second half. But the man of the match is this fella here, who's kicked really, really well for the Workington team, and sorry, for the Keighley team, and in his first half, obviously, and they're still going here.
Oh, it's a half break by Miller. But Scott Leatherbarrow is the Kingston Press man of the match tonight, so well done to him, the man they signed from Wigan in the off-season. And Keighley look as though they're on the way here to 3 very big points. Workington might still have a word to say. Coming into the final, 1 minute and 45 seconds.
Wait.
Surely there's not time now. Surely it would be an absolute miracle. Craven spinning it across. Callum Phillips drops it, but it's dropped by Carter.
Knock on. First knock on by
First
Keighley.
knock on. Oh, it was Keighley knock on, so it will be head and feet to Workington here. But
got that right.
look at how quickly the clock's going down. They've stopped the clock, but 1 minute and 23 seconds to go. And there's no ifs and buts. They have to score next. They have to score in the next couple of tackles, you would have thought. And even then, they probably won't have time.
Keighley have done well just to steady the ship, haven't they? When they got back to 28-20 at first, you know, they had some real momentum there, Workington. There was still plenty of time left, and just had a couple of real good sets, didn't they, where they got up there and decent kicks from Leatherbarrow at the end, and it looks like it's going to just about see them home.
Still a fight in this Workington side. Cale Connor, taking it in. They're going to go right to the end. They've travelled a long way for this tonight. They're not going to go down with a whimper.
2. Move.
That's 2 tackles gone.
Go. 2.
Mattison spinning it left. Craven looking for runners.
Movement. Hold. Hold. Go.
Here's Craven again. He's trying to stop and stumble his way through, but defenders were right in his face,
4.
so he never had a chance.
4.
Here comes to play the ball. This is Phillips. Long ball out towards Morris.
5 last.
Morris was tackled, and then he passed the ball away, and his elbow had hit the ground, so the referee again says penalty against you, son.
Yeah, but your tackle was complete, elbows on the ground.
Well, there is, I'm sure if you're watching on, you might think, well, what about that new rule they had this year? Well, just for the uninitiated, the new rule is only if the referee shows held. If the tackle's completed, as it was then, it's a penalty. There's no 2 ways about it, are there? Well, the hooter sounds before they'll start it again. And the referee blows time on what has been a big, big night here for the Keighley Cougars. You have to take your hats off to them, because 6 consecutive defeats. They came into this game needing a turnaround in fortune. They were in their pomp in the first half, 24-0, and then when that cavalry charge from Workington came at them in the second half, they kept their heads, and they've managed to hold on, Brian Noble, for a very big win tonight.
That's a huge win, and you saw that element of nervousness in the second half where the belief was tested, wasn't there? And as Gareth said, those 3 sets where they just nailed a few kicks for Leatherbarrow and kept Workington at their end of the field probably was the difference, because they had all the momentum in the second half, Workington. But let's not forget what Keighley did in the first half. They deserved this win on the back of their prowess and what they've placed on the board with their 28 points.
Well, we're going to be hearing from Scott Leatherbarrow very shortly, but the Titans of this division will be looking at the league table as well, Gareth, a little later. But I mean, that 3 points tonight takes them from cellar dwellers to mid-table all of a sudden.
Absolutely, and now they can start talking about playoffs instead of relegation. That's what it's like in the bottom half of the championship this season, and that's why so many of these games are so exciting, because you can move up and down 3 or 4 places in one match. I'm sure Paul March will be delighted with his side tonight. They set off superbly. Their attitude was great in the first half, and they regrouped, went under pressure in the second. Big win for them tonight.
Let's hear from the man of the match tonight, Scott Leatherbarrow. He's talking with Natalie Quirk.
Well, Scott, congratulations, our Kingston Press man of the match, and how much was that win needed tonight?
Absolutely massive, absolutely massive. We talked it up all week about it being the biggest game of our season, like a cup final. We come off back of about 4 or 5 defeats. It was just massive to get the 3 points tonight, and credit to the boys, you know, dug in there at the end. We struggled that second half, but massive to get the win.
A little bit of frustration in that second half?
Yeah, like, we knew that Workington would come out fighting the second half after the first half. A few errors from the boys, but we dug in there and got the win in the end.
Your kicking practice came in handy tonight?
Yeah, missed a couple of easy ones, but hopefully we'll kick on now, get another win next week.
Well done tonight.
Thank you, cheers.
Well, his goal kicking was massively important, his ground kicking was massively important as well, and Paul March, no doubt, rejoicing amongst his players now. We've won one, fellas. This could be a turning point for the season. Workington, I'm sure, will come back fighting. So we're back with analysis on that game after this break.